Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C, Pattern of Conduct, real-time documentation of the state of California's criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California in violation of existing federal law, that is 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is ongoing documentation that is specifically gathered following my release from kidnapping by this entity that was ceaselessly monitoring in violation of 18 U.S.C. and in violation of Title 15 and in violation of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, as I was subject to the same exact criminal pattern of conduct while kidnapped by this entity seeking to conceal this criminal system that I am documenting and publishing and exposing on the venue of the internet, where I am also subject to the criminal pattern of conduct, and understand that kidnapping is the pattern of conduct that is criminal obstruction of justice, as the entity seeks to avoid prosecution and to avoid documentation and exposure for engaging in this criminal system. The people of the state are the vicarious aspect of the entity. They are engaging in federal stalking as I am kidnapped by the state inside of the state facilities, all right? And they are fully engaging in kidnapping upon criminal summoning. So this is the this is the entity from beginning to the end engaging in the criminal acts of the federal stalking and the acts of criminal obstruction of justice. This is also documentation on the venue of the internet engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct via obstruction of justice, and this is in any way reducing or removing the ability to publish the ongoing documentation of the state's criminal pattern of conduct, which is waging an ongoing threat to my life as I remain subject to this criminal system. And this is the criminal pattern of conduct on the venue of the internet, okay? And that is the totality of what I have documented since release. I was kidnapped from June 18, 2021 from third-party facilitating venue of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where the Ontario Police Department were monitoring, and this in conformity to the ongoing wealth of documentation that I have already published, specifically revealing the Ontario Police Department engaging in monitoring and kidnapping, which was via the assertion of a fictitious warrant pursuant to a fictitious prosecution. That is the people of the state of California v. Erica Lorraine Spencer, case number Mary Wendy Victor 2000640. I was subject to kidnapping pursuant to this fictitious prosecution, documentation on the facility cameras everywhere that I was inside of the facility of West Valley, located at 9700 Etiwana Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, California, and at the state facilitating venue of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, located at 8303 Haven Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, and I was subject to federal stalking ceaselessly at the jail, at the courthouse, in the courtrooms, okay? The same exact pattern of conduct ceaselessly underway. The kidnapping serves obstruction of justice, and that this is kidnapping that I endured from June 18th, 2021 up until August 16th, 2021. This is the P.O.C.
It is 6:08 a.m. The state is repeatedly patrolling over the same area, the center of the museum, right over me, just where I took an image and I captured video. The fake moon is right here over the museum over me, and the state is flying right here at this input, and that's called patrolling, repeatedly pacing in airplanes and amplifying that activity, and also doing it with simultaneity to the Union Pacific train. So the state is monitoring using the train and then flying the planes at the same time, and also repeatedly, like right now, flying planes on a repeated basis. And that was stalking with activity. As I get up to touch my phone, the state flies another plane over. It's 6:09 a.m. And that's P.O.C. Let's see, this is demonic. This is demonic conduct that the state is engaging in, as it is stalking in airplanes and amplifying audible activity, and doing so also with simultaneity to my most minute movement. All right. It's at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. It's 6:09 a.m. and that's P.O.C. Here comes another plane right now. This is what the state has been doing all night, and doing it with while the train is in motion, doing that together. So the train will go, amplify that, and then fly a plane at the same time. All right, no mystery, already established that the state is stalking, that the state is a stalker, and that the state is stalking via third-party commercial airlines, and that is within less than 20 seconds, another plane flying over as I'm relaying the fact that that's what the state is doing, also capturing video of that, and I have tons of documentation of that. That's what the state is doing right now, and also, again, as the state engages in that ongoing demonstration of that which I document, the state does the same thing with every other method of activity creation, for example, especially when I'm documenting minions, third-party vicarious actors. That is called the impermissible threat by the demon possessed, all right? That is a means of prosecuting. That is the unlawful threat with the intent to terrorize, with knowledge of being documented, and this is a public entity's conduct, and I have a heavy documentation of the state engaging in that conduct. That is the character of the demon possessed. This is how demons behave, and this is what the government engages in routinely. I want to make sure I specify that. This is a third plane. It's 6:10 a.m. This is less than 60 seconds. P.O.C. This is demonic activity. The state's pacing in airplanes. And this is what the state does with the Union Pacific as well. And that's called amplification. So that is it's 6:10. Remember, so that's within 60 seconds. You have 3 planes. That's called pacing. Like the state does with the people. They're one entity. They're not going anywhere. They're maintaining presence. The state is literally in commercial-size airplanes pacing over me at the museum, and that is within 60 seconds what I just documented, hovering in 3 airplanes, repeatedly crossing path and amplifying audible activity while doing so, providing ongoing evidence of federal stalking and demonic activity. This is terrorism by the state, and every third party that has already been documented to be prosecuted for that, the state is monitoring with the people. So it is not only speaking to its own detriment, that is the vicarious actor that is engaging in that demonic terrorism with that entity. It's 6:12 a.m. and that is what the state has been engaging in all night. So that's a good 90 seconds, a sample of what the state has been doing on a ceaseless basis. That is P.O.C. (7:07 a.m.) And that is ongoing patrolling, hovering over the museum as though the state is just repeatedly taking off right here over the museum at 225 South Euclid Avenue. It's P.O.C. All right, the state is engaging in the same exact patrolling conduct in airplanes and just changing the method of noise. As I've shown, where the state will use its airplanes, and you're hearing still a loud like motor of a plane, even when it's at a very high elevation where you're not going to hear that. The state is engaging in the engagement of elements. So you're talking about the coexisting noise while they are crossing path in the sky in an airplane. This is exactly what the demon-possessed stalkers all around me, whose images I take pictures of, I write down I capture their license plates. They are engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring while they are engaging in demonic pacing in airplanes. So you're using the creation of activity, sounding like you're taking off when you're not taking off over the museum. You're hovering over the museum and you are amplifying the sound of a plane that sounds like it's taking off from an airport while you're hovering over the museum. And then you're also using what is the sound of a loud motor of an airplane, which is the same creation of audible activity. It's a combination of noise and crossing of path in directed light, and while the state is engaging in the ongoing maintenance of light activity. It is currently 7:16 a.m. and that's what the state is doing since I created my last little excerpt. Speaking of what is the sound of taking off, the state is not taking off over this. The state's not taking off over the museum. That is the same exact sound that the state uses. It's playing a tape of that sound of some plane taking off, and the state just turns the volume up super duper loud. All right. And so the state is using a different tape, if you will, the sound of a loud motor of an airplane while they are constantly patrolling over. It is the combination of noise, that is activity, and relevant positioning, that is a crossing path in an airplane, and doing so repeatedly. This is pacing. It's demonic activity while they are engaging in federal stalking. And it is the exact same pacing conduct of the people who are demon-possessed stalkers who do so on foot and in their vehicles. For example, the pictures that I take of group stalkers inside of Starbucks, inside of the library, even when I'm outside, they engage in the exact same identical behavioral pattern, the necessity of noise, even as the state creates noise while they are walking by. The state is creating light that's just appearing in the atmosphere as they are walking by. It's demonic activity, all right? It is 7:18 a.m. That's P.O.C. All right, it's 8:17 a.m. I captured on video what is City of Ontario using a John Deere construction vehicle. If you hear that noise, that's maintaining audible activity. And the people are patrolling in traffic as usual, and I want to document in the parking lot maintaining presence while City of Ontario is loitering in relevant position at Transit and Euclid with peculiarized light. That's the flashing light on that John Deere construction vehicle with the sound of what is amplified. The state is amplifying everything. So this is amplified sound of what is a construction vehicle that as the City of Ontario, this is the state, is driving around on the construction vehicle in the street. Right now, just sitting at the stop sign, loitering in relevant position, okay? That is the maintenance of noise around me. This is what, for example, I documented through the grievances as the deputies would engage in what's demonic conduct, and as I would be moved from cell to cell, they would follow with noise, slamming and making noise as I'm in motion inside of the units. That's what the people do outside. It's the maintenance of audible activity. This is what the state is doing while I'm at the museum, maintaining noise while they fly over, sounding like they're taking off, and they're not taking off over the museum. You're flying over the museum and you're creating the noise, sounding like you're taking off, and then when they do what is the sound of like a loud plane motor while you are flying over the museum, it's still the same maintenance of audible activity and relevant positioning. That's the state acting directly while the people are constantly patrolling. Demons engaging in what is targeting together, all right? And this peculiarized light, this is the ongoing demonic theme. Stalking with the light source, stalking with peculiarized light, stalking with directed light. This is what the state is engaging in. Light is present, first of all, it's daytime, and the elements remain present. The state engages in stalking with peculiarized light, and the group stalkers at state facilitating venue inside of license 8KBE032 are loitering in relevant position, monitoring with the City of Ontario. This entire time, this is it's 8:19 a.m. and so this is 5 minutes just sitting at the stop sign in a construction vehicle with peculiarized light. That is a demon riding a John Deere construction vehicle with blinking light. You are looking at what is the engagement in demonic activity, and doing so, that's also criminal facilitation by the City of Ontario, and you are recognizing how they engage in the maintenance of maintaining the elements, and how the people maintain presence while those elements are being maintained. It's group conduct. They act in concert with each other, all right? That is P.O.C, and it is 8:19 a.m., and that is as I walk from the museum, and that is an example of what the people are doing on a constant basis, maintaining presence and maintaining activity. And that is documentation of what is John Deere, because that's going to be used. They are associating John Deere, that brand, with federal stalking, as you are using it as a means of audible activity while the city is engaging in what is maintenance of audible activity on that John Deere construction vehicle for use of also light activity. These are acts of terrorism, and you are associating that brand with it. And that brand can be documented for that. This is State Facilitating Venue, San Bernardino County Public Health Clinics. Good morning. It's 8:20 a.m. That is monitoring with the people and the state. It is Allied Universal is in here as well, monitoring inside of the private space as well. M2 5FQF921 8T45479. Omnitrans is in relevant position at Euclid and Holt 6ZEM546, excuse me. License BK19824 8MDG927 BLAG104. This is patrolling, audible activity, and light activity using their vehicles. The state is always maintaining directed light,
License plate QNG143, that's a Florida plate, 8TTC 687. And YESYCAN, excuse me, 7XDR989, and City of Ontario maintaining peculiarized light. That's the demonic activity. 75654X2. I mean, this is all demonic activity, but that's the outward demonstration as they maintain presence around with peculiarized light. So as I stand outside of Holt Boulevard, the public clinics on City of Ontario comes and parks right across the street with another form of peculiarized light. Their vehicle with their flashers on the top of it, just like the John Deere construction vehicle with a flashing light on top of it, okay? Just like Omnitrans sitting at a bus stop with their hazard lights on. Like a group stalker sitting at a Omnitrans bus stop with their hazard lights on. That is peculiarized light. That's stalking with light, and that's demon possession. This is by the state. That's City of Ontario. All right. License plate and who are in position engaging in that terrorism with City of Ontario. It is 7TGL459, ZWJ140, 09676T2, 1580340. That's City of Ontario as well. License 8TWJ222. This is license plate. Turning their hazards on, 8EWC489. 6UMS057. All right, 8RYT431, 98139Y1, 7PES219, I believe. Can't really see that one. 5YJA846 or 840. License plate. Can't really see that one. I did show video of what is City of Ontario coming close to get in direct alignment with me on the opposite side of Holt Boulevard, where I stand documenting third-party group stalkers. Which is a very clear picture of demon possession. This is providing context to what you're looking at in the same way that the state stalking conduct provides context to what you're looking at with the people, in the same way that the state's light source remaining over me provides context to what you're looking at with the people. And so you are understanding what is demonic activity. License plate, oh, that doesn't have one, but it says Sharky on the back and they're honking for no reason. License plate 8WEY539, other than maintenance of audible activity, okay? 7BXA851. 6GRJ440. And that was a sheriff's department that I also documented on video as well, engaging in terrorism with the City of Ontario. 8TWJ884, 54174Y2, Omnitrans, license 1545685. All right, now as opposed to the directed light that rides beside that vehicle under the fake sun, you've got City of Ontario providing peculiarized light as Omnitrans crosses path, okay? The same exact conduct with light, the same outward demonstration of demon possession. What are the many methods of directed light as I have pointed them out to you? Peculiarized light. So, oh, here we go, Ontario Police Department. Direct light. All right, 1591758, engaging in terrorism with the City of Ontario, the same duo that engaged in kidnapping on June 18, 2021. There is no difference there. All right, I'll show you how demons engage in P.O.C. 6MBS672. The methods of light activity, peculiarized light. This is blinking light, flashing light, all right? Turning light on after it's off, or turning light off after it's on. That is the same thing as rapidly flashing light. Understand that. Peculiarized light, FATS392. Directed light, what I have shown you what the state engages in with that which is not sunlight. That is the state's directed light. That is a method of stalking with light. That's the state's light activity conduct. It's demonic, all right? And what the state engages in with you've got this, the state creating a light activity using its police vehicles with Omnitrans near the Shiro's Liquor. That's in perfect alignment with me. This is stalking with light. City of Ontario is in front of me. Ontario Police Department on the side, all right, where the Omnitrans is, where Sultana and Holt Boulevard is, that's surrounding with directed light, all right? This is the same thing that Omnitrans is doing, sitting at the bus stop where I showed you yesterday, where the fake sun was directly over me at that bus stop, and you saw that directed light outside of that bus on the sidewalk, and then moving in real time beside the bus as it drove off, and that's not sunlight. That's called directed light. City of Ontario is engaging in what is peculiarized light, as they are maintaining presence with that peculiarized. That's called stalking with light, demon possession. All right, license plate 8UZZ061. That's demon possession, amplified audible activity upon peculiarized light, as they all together engage in that conduct together. That's the terrorism. While they are engaging in demonic conduct, that's demonic, as I'm explaining to you, and all the methods they engage in that demonic activity, that's terrorism as the entity engages in that together. 5VKL721, and that's City of Ontario, 8:48 a.m. 7KKL 675. NEWNORM 8JP, I can't really see that one. 7FJK 138. 8VAV 935. 8JJV 865. 7CPH 547. 8VWG 152. 8XV 7271, I believe. You want to say UPS 8RTL 951. 8TV W337 64243S1 ALDRET7 8CUV 667 6XVD 369 6RRG 052. All right, and understand every vehicle, this is light that's crossing paths with you. That's another method of light activity, moving light, okay? This is how the entity is engaging in light activity, and then you have what are demons that are remaining stationary and maintaining peculiarized light using your hazard lights, all right? Using your turn signals, stopping, using your brake lights, as I've documented the Ontario Police Department at the state facilitating video of City Hall, stalking in the path, using their brake vehicles of that police vehicle under the fake sun, amplified plane activity. It's all the same exact elements, and it's demonic activity as the entity demonstrates it. That's terrorism. All right, there is no deviating from that long documented pattern of conduct, and you're seeing how demons are in no way obviating from what has already been documented. 6U31775. Demons stalk with light. That's what the City of Ontario literally just did, and I'm going to prosecute them for what is terrorism and criminal facilitation of that terrorism. All right, license BS10N85. I got that license plate. 7MBL177. 5GUK932. 6RTC171, or 717, excuse me. 7LUK199. 28789B3. It is currently 8:50 a.m. and that was the City of Ontario. That is San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, the Ontario Police Department, engaging in and San Bernardino County engaging in the terrorism, along with the City of Ontario that came and parked in perfect alignment with me. Understand the targeting conduct. That's the same thing as the fake sun over my head, coming in perfect alignment to where I am with peculiarized light. That is the same thing. That is exactly what City of Ontario was doing with the John Deere construction vehicle with peculiarized light. You're paying attention to the themes. These are the demonic themes. As they are engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, light activity is serving monitoring with communication devices on the venue of the internet by a public entity in concert with the people of the state. While the state is maintaining light activity relevant positioning, that is the demons maintaining group presence and maintaining activity as one. All right, that is P.O.C. and it's 8:51 a.m. And as I was stating on my podcast, I want to be clear: the Ontario Police Department, using its police vehicles at Sultana and Hope Boulevard in perfect alignment with me, as I'm on the same side of the street as Hope. After I recited that license plate, they went down to the end of the street where Sultana is, turned on their police light vehicles, while City of Ontario sit right in front of me, across from me, off of Hope, using the lights on that vehicle. This is peculiarized light. That's how demons surround with light activity. Okay, yes, that is plane activity over me while I'm walking down the street. 8BO1613. Understand how the state engaging in manipulation of the environment and showing what is a long documentation of stalking with a light source. You are seeing how they supplement what would be the fake sun over my head visibly. Because understand, I've already showed you how the state is doing nothing but manipulating the environment, and magically the clouds, and I put that in air quotes, the clouds disappear and the fake sun is still seen over my head at any moment's pause. But in lieu of that, the state is acting vicariously as the people and state actors, City of Ontario, Ontario Police Department, etc., maintain peculiarized light, stalking with light. Maintenance of presence via traffic. That is a chief means of light activity as well. This is light that is literally crossing paths with you as they have their headlights on, as they turn their signals on, their turn signals and their hazard lights on. All right, so loitering in relevant position 8PYW582. You are not at a red light, and you are maintaining presence and creating light activity and stalking with light, engaging in terrorism with the state. All right, this is a male, and he's at the traffic lights of Holt and Plum. That's 8PYW582. 7NGW927, City of Ontario. As well, that's not the license plate of City of Ontario, but I'm just reciting. City of Ontario is over here in relevant position, stalking as well. I'm sorry, that is San Bernardino County. 7NGW927. I say those two state actors so often. Penske truck rental, that readily identifiable brand. All right, group stalking via Andy's drive-through 6CUG174. So this is providing an emphasis on what is the people outwardly demonstrating demon possession as they stalk with light together. 8VO1613. That's the terrorism that the entity engages in vicariously. 8CIZ798. EN813 handicap. 8VTU912. 7LFJ515. 6RBT762. 7CYB350. Every single last one of them are creating light activity as they cross path in their vehicle, as they create audible activity, and as they are engaging in crossing a path. Those are the three elements of monitoring. 8DEX691, 8CGY823. No plates on that vehicle. And this is the outward demonstration of demon possession by the people. This is an entity. This is a group. This is a gang demonstrating demon possession. That is terrorism. All right. Frontier Communications, license 5ZYL941. It is 8:55 a.m. Right time is in the parking lot of B&G Plaza, monitoring in that commercial vehicle and on cameras in the parking lot. There is no form. They're in relevant position, standing outside the van, picking what venue they want to go inside of. Either one, any of them are in relevant position, and they are stalking in the path. License plate 7YER134. The state is amplifying plane activity as I'm walking down the street, in the same way that the state keeps its fake sun over my head as I'm walking down the street. All right, these two males are walking inside of Andy's Burgers. They have on white t-shirts, black bottoms, dark black boots on one and tan boots on another, and a backwards cap on the other one. They're with Right Time Air Conditioning and Heating. License number 765074, license number 791820. The license plate is 06010C2, and stalking with light right beside them on the other side of the van with the lights ready, brakes and reverse lights ready. They're just stalking the parking lot. 6ZEP919, ready as I dare you to hit me. I dare you to hit me. Bitch. No, you're a fucking stalker, and I'm gonna prosecute your ass. And she's monitoring, and that's a battery with her child in the car. All right, there is no feigning ignorance. All right, so let me make sure I get them. Oh, no, it's okay, bitch. I got you. You can feign ignorance all you want. There's a whole bigger picture. Hitting me with your car, this is audible activity. Keep running your fucking mouth. Keep running your fucking mouth. You're a goddamn liar. Okay. And you're engaging in federal stalking with the state. So you can feign ignorance all you want. Going to the extreme to hit me with your car, you're going to federal prison for that. You fucking pervert. What's your name? What's your name? What is your name? Hello? What is your name? What is, because you just hit me with your car. What is your name? I didn't tell you to say you're sorry. What's your name? Hello? Alrighty, that is a video that I just captured of third-party facilitating video, Andy's Burgers, engaging in what is federal stalking. That is terrorism. as demon-possessed stalkers are utilizing audible activity to engage in criminal defamation and threats of harm, while they are seeking to really essentially distract from what was the third-party group stalker that made the detrimental mistake of hitting me with their vehicle while they're engaging in federal stalking. And I documented all of these license plates on my camera on video, but I want to get them on my podcast. 8JUZ826, 8FYV510. And again, the entity that's engaging in what is violence and doing so under the fake sun, which is not anywhere, it's nowhere, it's right here over the Andes Burgers, underneath these fake clouds. They're right here over while they're engaging in criminal defamation, engaging in threats of physical harm, and while the state is amplifying plain English right over my head where I stand at the restaurant. 8DIW299, 8F98499. Understand, if the amplification of plain engines were right here, they wouldn't be so loud at the museum. They're group stalking at Center ICE, group stalking in the street on transit. All right, 06010C2. And the group stalker that hit me with her vehicle, that is license 6ZEP919. All right, and she tried to swiftly just get out of that by having a whole bunch of other demons come out of Andy's Burgers for no reason, like gunshots. Were no gunshots fired, nothing. They're just coming out, knowing that she is refusing to give me her name, and then they engage in what is harassing speech, threatening speech, defamatory speech while they are monitoring, because that demon hit me with her car and I documented it. All right, she doesn't want to give me her name, and so then they all just come out and in a group at Andy's Burgers. For what? They're supposed to be in the kitchen cooking. 8KCK913. All right, who called them to come outside? Satan did. License plate. 8EBH816, 7XET083, 8NRE572, 7CCS957, 6MTX425, 8MLW991, 8JNH469, 6VLM920. This is Brian's Automotive. 6H68086, 6ZBE473, 5WSB144, 33164C3, 7KUD373, 8WBX172, 4WNL161, 8 SIB586, group stalking sitting in their vehicle. All right, and like I said, the fake sun magically appears right over my head as I'm walking on transit. It does not go anywhere, just like third-party group stalkers aren't going anywhere. They're maintaining presence. All right, and you're going to prosecute the entity as well as that third-party group stalker in particular who's engaging in sexually violent, life-threatening stalking on behalf of an entity and then hitting with her car while doing so, having zero form. 5XUZ610, 4WNL161, 8AWC381, 7FKV872, 7TKY793, 8TYF001, 8SIR721, 8RWB549, 6212, 5F3, 8MAF571. It is 9:12 a.m. All right, the same exact conduct that the state engages in at the museum. Here it is right here on transit where the state's fake sun is right over my head. That's called turning up the volume of the sound of a plane. Like they're taking off over the Center ICE arena. And then they're perpetually taking off as they continue toward the museum. Yeah, that's called P.O.C. There is not even a plane visible in the sky. All right, for that, you're going to think about there is no plane visible in the sky, but you're acting like you're flying at a low elevation and you're taking off higher, like you're taking off, even though there is no airport right here. That's exactly what the state does over the museum. And by the way, it has stopped at that audible activity over here at the skating rink. So what the state is doing at the museum is waiting until it gets to the museum to play that same exact tape of audible activity of a plane taking off, because you don't hear it anymore. And it's not going to go down, lower down again over the museum. It did it right here, playing a tape of a sound of a plane taking off, even though there's not even any plane visible such that it's flying at some low elevation to entertain this sound that you're hearing of a plane that's supposedly taking off over the center ice skating arena, where I'm standing, where the fake sun is right over my head. It's 9:14 a.m. That's P.O.C, and that's stalking with audible activity. That is the state stalking by an aircraft. That is the hallmark speaking to everything that I just documented by a third-party group stalker. You are not assuming any risk as you are documenting a public entity engaging in federal stalking. That they engage in assaulting and battering you with any weapons that they have at their disposal is not in any way going to be attributed to the target individual who's being monitored. 8XRM531. All right. And so I'm documenting the entity, and she engages in hitting me. Understand that's the state that is stalking me in airplanes and with the light source, and by law enforcement, and engaging in kidnapping, and engaging in ongoing perpetual sexual violence. That is who hit me with their car this morning. While there, that demon just made a U-turn in the street and just turned around the opposite way. That's called pacing in a car. Okay. That demon hits me with her vehicle while she's engaging in terrorism and sexual violation and life-threatening stalking on behalf of a government with a minor child who I also captured on video. Okay. She is engaging in that which is absolutely unacceptable as an American citizen. She's not from this country. She needs to be deported. That is what policy is. That's what the policy that I'm advocating. But also, this is not new under existing criminal law. This is that which is at a federal level, though, and unprecedented because the government is monitoring and doing it through the people of the state who have zero shelter. The state literally has its fake sun over my head and is flying over my head, playing its ongoing tape of plane activity, which is east of where I am, as I documented day in and day out at the museum. Not doing it over the museum, doing it right here where I stand on the opposite side of the parking lot of B&G Plaza, where those minions wearing Andy's Burgers aprons were engaging in audible activity, engaging in threats of harm. All right. And regardless of the fact that I will throw her through a glass door, understand that she is representing the entity. I'm advocating on behalf of the ordinary target individual who is terrorized by the criminally threatening speech of the people of the state of California who are monitoring with the government. All right. So these are demon-possessed bullies, if you will, who are accustomed to numbers that makes them feel bold. OK, so that's why she's talking like that. I will throw her through a glass door. She put her hands on me. That's exactly what would have happened to her. But I am documenting that. That's a threat coming out of the mouth of the state. Understand that. That's why I'm going to prosecute Andy's for that. All right. That's the government engaging in that threat while it's placing a light source over my head and stalking all around right now by the Ontario Police Department, by the city of Ontario, those demons that are pacing around right now in their vehicles, stalking with light. All right. The state that is stalking by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department and keeping its fake sun and airplanes over. YP00109, using that truck as light activity crossing path. Even understand how demons act, even using that very truck as a means of loud activity to cross path on transit under the fake sun. Even the very vehicle that they use is deliberate, okay? That is P.O.C, and that's what I'm documenting. There is no assumption of risk. She is the entity engaging in federal stalking. You document it, and then everything that they engage in pursuant to that. That's just exacerbating that prosecution, and that one in particular for directly engaging in what is a battery with her vehicle, a deadly weapon. All right, engaging in acting like you're ignorant. The pattern of conduct is established. You can argue you didn't know. I was there all day long. Whatever. I'll prosecute you. For first of all, federal stalking and terrorism is underway. And second of all, even under ordinary negligence laws, she's speeding in reverse and acting. And so if you want to act like you're ignorant, then that means you were speeding in reverse and you were not looking behind you whatsoever. You are grossly negligent in a parking lot. OK, so you are under both theories. I will prosecute her. All right. But let me be clear. That's a demon. That is a demon-possessed stalker who is using the form of ignorance, like she's not stalking as I'm documenting her. This is how demons conduct themselves. This is how they behave, okay? And I'm letting you know that. And then you saw the demons come out of Andy's Burgers that are wanting to engage in a song and dance, a distraction via harassment. That's what that criminal defamation is about. That's what that threat of harm is about. Anything to get away from what is the issue, which was that demon-possessed stalker hitting me with her car, all right? Hitting my property with her vehicle while I'm documenting her. All right, so it's P.O.C. Let me get you the state's fake sun, which is right here over me. Okay, I did document that because that is, yes, I have already established what the state is doing, but I'm going to make sure I wrap that up nice and tight with regard to the battery and assault that the third parties, and that is attributed to Andes as well, that they engaged in, and then the audible activity that came out of their mouth, and you prosecute for every syllable that comes out of their mouth, and they are speaking on behalf of the entity. So everybody is being documented engaging in that speech and engaging in those threats, engaging in criminal summoning, where you literally are stalking with the Ontario police that are already in relevant position. That's how the people of the state engage in P.O.C. So you have that old lady that's on the phone. That's operation of a communication device. The fake sun is over my head, over their venue. And directed light is all around and inside of their venue. And everything that they're saying is audible activity. And this is the state flying over center ice and not over the museum, creating the same noise that it makes over the museum as though it's taking off there. That's P.O.C, and that's what ultra personnel is engaging in, looking like these are demons, looking like they're deep in a conversation. They're monitoring to that audible activity while the state is stalking. That's how demons conduct themselves. So I'm going to, yeah, that's ultra personnel. That's P.O.C. That's a company. You're going to document that. 7SNA076. All right, that's demons. 8XRM531 drives past on transit, makes a U-turn at the driveway of Center Ice Arena, just like I already spoke to it. The entire time she is loitering in relevant positions, sitting in her vehicle, stalking with light. That's what that is. And doing so while the state is patrolling via aircraft. She is sitting on the opposite side of the vehicle. That's a psychopath, and that's a demon-possessed stalker. There is zero form, all right? So I'm calling them out as they engage in it. 8HPC530, 55623F3, 8MVL108, 8NNR029, and understand how there is no separation. Ultra personnel is monitoring with this demon-possessed stalker who's sitting in her car under the fake sun on the back street of transit while the state is flying over the Center Ice Arena, patrolling in airplanes. All right, centering its activity as though it's taking off over the ice arena now, as opposed to taking off over the museum. 8VRP650, 8RYW083, 8GYU826, 7DIR937, 5XGZ503, 7JMZ305, 8P12439, 8THM932, 6NZV265, 8VO1613, 8VJV056, 7SNA076, 8AJU992, 47418H1. So 7SNA076 stalking sitting in their car, all right, on both sides of the driveway as I walk through. Stalking sitting in their car on the opposite side of me is 8AJU992. This is how they maintain presence in the path. While the fake sun is no longer over transit, it's right here over the parking lot where the Shiro's liquor is. Okay, moving as I move. That's called stalking in the path. That's the demon possession. All right, license 8FED335, 7XQL896, 4NFV878, 5TXC591, 8AIF591, 4WPC293, 8VCW661, 8KEN889, 3206 3K2, 2WGU480, 7RMG685, 8JIM245, 8CVR965. All right, it is 9:24 a.m. All right, I did document the presence of the fake sun, which is in clear migration, nowhere near being over Center Ice Skating Arena, which, by the way, that's a facilitating venue, and all of them were outside I'm sorry, not all of them, but you had a group of third parties that were maintaining presence in the parking lot of Center Ice Arena while Andy's Burgers was standing outside, coming out, supposedly should be making pancakes, but all of a sudden something gets their attention in there and they're walking out while the third party, maybe she called somebody from inside Andy's Burgers, I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you this. They're monitoring together, and those are group stalkers that come out and begin crowding. They're engaging in relevant positioning and everything that I documented as it came out of their mouth, while I am defending myself against a government that's engaging in what is terrorizing threats. Understand, I am nonetheless going to prosecute for everything that is audible activity while you're engaging in that. Those are kidnappers and sex offenders and stalkers that are engaging in that speech, wearing Andy's Burgers aprons, okay? That's P.O.C. It's 9:27 a.m. The state's fake sun is in clear, distinct position from what was over me at Andy's Burgers. As I showed you, it was underneath the fake clouds. And as I showed you while I'm on transit, the back street. And I am pointing my camera toward the Center Ice Arena. I am pointing my camera in the totally opposite direction to get it directly over my head where it is now while I'm standing in front of Shiro's Liquor. All right, Fluid is a commercial vehicle. Documented this one with California Highway Patrol. They were engaging in federal stalking as the state's fake sun was over my head after I remained at 706 West Holt at Starbucks. And then California Highway Patrol engaging in, and they represent law enforcement, and engaging in federal stalking as the state was molesting me with directed light inside of Tracy Banks' car. And let me be clear, this is FedEx using a fluid vehicle, okay? Engaging in stalking with light. Alrighty, I did gather you're going to want to look at the video because I documented it on video. The use of stalking with peculiarized light using a commercial vehicle. That was both FedEx and Fluid. Fluid is the one that I documented. Their vehicle, they were engaging in federal stalking as I left Starbucks and I went to Days Inn. The state's fake sun remaining over me the entire time, and I also documented California Highway Patrol engaging in federal stalking as well. While the state was molesting me with directed light while I'm inside of Tracy Banks' vehicles, at the same time that third-party group stalkers are crossing path. And so as I gathered this documentation, California Highway Patrol parks right next to the vehicle that I'm inside of, and the fake sun is directly over my head. And this is after that duration of documentation of the state's fake sun remaining literally over the building of what is 706 West Holt Boulevard. Omnitrans license plate number 1234520, bus number 1216, loitering in relevant position with the Ontario Police Department, directed light beside on Omnitrans. That's a threat waged by the Ontario Police Department and Omnitrans together, all right? Ontario Police Department engaging in what is ongoing stalking. So when they are visibly present, it is the intent to terrorize. While they are engaging in what is stalking with knowledge of everything that you're documenting, that's a psychopath and a sex offender. And those are demon-possessed stalkers that wear police uniforms, all right? So that's in violation of existing federal law while they're engaging in federal stalking, 18 U.S.C. 2261A. But that is also in violation of what is a policy to be enforced against a public entity that is engaging in what is demon possession, a satanic targeting system, while they are practicing what is federal stalking. All right, that's terrorism, acts of terrorism, heavily documented by the Ontario Police Department. All right, so this is this? Yeah, Fluid. So this is FedEx using the Fluid vehicle, patrolling around with the Ontario Police Department, 8 MPY 906, monitoring with them. And so that is the same FedEx Fluid vehicle that now goes to what is in front of, and understand every you can document in totality. This is not only FedEx, this is Fluid, but you have wherever they are going, it's a facilitating venue. They are monitoring together, and so you can document. This is B&G Plaza, the totality of this venue, but also he's going into what is ultra personnel, the group stalkers who are standing outside in the corner while the state is flying over in airplanes that you can't see, but acting like they're at such a low elevation. That's why it's so loud and they're taking off over the skating rink. All right, that's what the state is doing under the fake sun. All right, it is P.O.C. and that's 9:31 a.m. 37537Z1. P.O.C. Ah, ha, 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 ha. All right, I want to make sure I document 7RMG685 in case I did not read that one. 32063K2, I believe I got that one. All right, it is 9:37 a.m. Group stalker enters inside of the venue of Shiro's Liquor as a patron, right? Maintaining presence inside of the venue, patrolling inside of the venue, communication device is in hand. And this is what all third parties are doing. I'm just making sure I specify this one. It is 9:38 a.m. and that he is on the surveillance cameras. This is a Caucasian male, and that is P.O.C. It is 9:38 a.m. All right, I did take some images of what is the state's light source as it is remaining over me as I'm traveling from Shiro's Liquor, 56578V2. And Omnitrans is the means of audible activity as I'm turning around to take a picture, turning on my camera on my phone, focusing it, and come repeatedly sounding the sound of that bus, 8DIW299. That's a means of stalking with activity. And I take a picture of Omnitrans that's in relevant position. That is called amplification of audible activity, 7RKA931. 6PRV325. That is the demonstration of demon possession by that commercial actor as well, while they're engaging in that demonic behavioral pattern. All right, Homeland Security. Let me get these government vehicles under the fake sun. Let me give you a video of this. Let me get the license plates on my phone. 0235W. This is it says U.S. government G11, and this one says U.S. government 2228U G62. These are Federal Protective Service Police Homeland Security. And let me be clear: the Homeland Security office that's in San Bernardino, that is adjacent to third-party facilitating venue, the Omnitrans bus stop, where the state engaged in stalking by plane, flying over my head by helicopter, engaging in stalking via law enforcement, flying over my head in a helicopter in a circle, which I documented in October of 2019, is right across the street from what is a state facilitating venue, where I believe Homeland Security has one of its offices. There is absolutely no form, and this is in no way helping the narrative for the state. It is speaking to the absolute indiscriminate condition of what is demon possession, first of all, but also how the state is engaging in what is very rampant public corruption, and there is the absolute same environment that is being maintained. And I want to get a video of what is the fake sun over me, over my head, in direct conflict with everything else that I've documented while these state vehicles are present, speaking to what is the presence of the state, all right, which is in no way any exception. The same state engaged in kidnapping, the same state engaged in terrorism inside of the walls of those state facilitating venues, of the Central Detention Center, West Valley Detention Center, Glen Helen Rehabilitation Center, the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, all right, and this is criminal activity as documented by the Ontario Police Department, the Fontana Police Department, the San Bernardino Police Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, et cetera, et cetera. There is no exception, and I've documented federal vehicles as well engaging in federal stalking where that exact same environment is being maintained, and that is outside of San Bernardino County as well. Let me document that. It's 9:44 a.m. All right, I did document that, but I want to get them on my podcast. So it is 9:48 a.m. 8JUZ826, BS 86V94, that's paper, 6CZJ675, and loitering in relevant position like I got on video, still loitering, 8NRY252, excuse me. And you have, and while that light split that I just read, loitering in relevant position, you're going to see group stalkers. This is demon possession as the people act with the state, with the fake sun over them, and directed light moving across the face of the federal government vehicle under the fake sun, 7FMN489, moving across the pavement, the reflection of the vehicles moving across on the sidewalk. That's the directed light, the same directed light that I showed you inside of the hotel room of Days Inn, where the fake sun is, in about 25 minutes, it's supposed to be directly over my head in alignment with room 103, but yet it's also going to be directly over my head as I'm walking north up Plum Avenue to get to Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, and it's right here over my head while I'm standing in front of these federal vehicles that are indicating what is state presence engaging in what is federal stalking. There is zero form, all right? And this is 8MIF855, and let me be clear, this is the federal government engaging in what is presence. This is also likewise the communication of a threat. This is the terrorism as it is engaged in by the federal government, parking in relevant position. This is indicative of state presence. The federal government using your vehicle in relevant position where the state is sounding plane engines. The state is always stalking by a helicopter. The state is stalking with its light source, which is over my head. And I just showed you video, which I will publish, of what is directed light moving all around. That's terrorism in and of itself. 6UXJ229. All right. And this is the federal government including itself in that pattern of conduct, which I have already documented before. The federal government using a federal government vehicle, getting in the drive-thru of Andy's Burgers and under the same exact fake sun. There is no form and there is no exception to what is demon possession, as I'm revealing it, and to what is criminal monitoring in violation of federal law. All right. There is no ignorance where that environment is being maintained. And there is no coincidence of that impossible occurrences of what is light that's not sunlight. All right. That the randomness with which it is occurring. The randomness of the people of the state, those whom you don't know, and you have what is this impossible environment that is recurring. That is that which ties the entirety of that system, the entirety of the people together. And that is also, by the way, what is imputing knowledge to the people of the state, besides the fact that they are engaging in the demonic behavioral pattern. The demonic behavioral pattern that is stalking with noise. That uncanny ability to maintain presence and arrive and create any method of activity, audible, light, and presence, physical presence, with simultaneity to whatever it is that you're doing. This is imputing knowledge. And let me be clear, the way that policy works, this is the state's pattern of conduct. All right, this is not Tracy Banks's pattern of conduct. This is the state of California's pattern of conduct. And so go on ahead. Where the state has in operation an established pattern of conduct, 8AIF591, where the state's pattern of conduct of federal stalking, which is demonic activity, this is terrorism, as you are understanding how the United States, the state of California, a public entity, engages in terrorism, because that's what this is. And understand the context, how they are engaging in terrorism is because this is a demon-possessed state actor. All right, and so as you are understanding that criminal pattern of conduct is underway, the people of the state are imputed with knowledge. There is nothing that you are doing that is occurring, that is facilitating that demonic system and terrorism, that is anything other than that criminal facilitation and engagement in it. This is demonic activity, and that's how demonic activity operates. All right, and so you're speaking to what is our ongoing acts of terrorism, while you have what is, for example, a third-party group stalker who hits with her vehicle, with which she is using to stalk with light, under what is the state's light source, under circumstances of a prolonged period of documentation of stalking by the state, which is direct evidence against that third-party group stalker. Let me be clear, the established pattern of conduct by the state is imputed knowledge to every third party in relevant position. Any criminal facilitation of that pattern of conduct that is underway, so that is, upon establishing that pattern of conduct, anything that, or anyone in relevant position, any activity created is facilitation, and there is no legal excuse. Anything that is happening, anything that happens, for example, being hit by a third-party group stalker, or being hit by a car, suffering any form of violence, as I have documented in many, many ways, okay? This is the totality of you're seeing how you're going to prosecute. Anything that's happening while that criminal pattern of conduct is underway is attributed to the state that is operating that criminal system. And by the way, it is reasonably foreseeable to occur where you are dealing with, first of all, terrorists, the demon-possessed, who are exceedingly hostile and who are accustomed to not having their secrets being known, all right? So you are making known what that which is supposedly unknown, first of all. And second of all, it is that which is supposed to be written off, and everything about the state's system, has been literally obliterated. I've shown you the state's pattern of conduct, and I've shown you the way in which it's supposed to operate, and I've shown you what I've documented speaking to the false premises upon which this whole system relies. 7 EPV 496. All right, and what is at the core of it? This public corruption, and at the core of it, it's demon possession. So you're dealing with psychopaths who legally have zero argument. All right. So knowledge is imputed to you where the state's pattern of conduct is underway. That knowledge is imputed to you based on the unnatural environment that exists. That knowledge is imputed to you based on your engagement in what is a demonic behavioral pattern, which is no coincidence. All right. That knowledge is imputed to you based on the stalking conduct of the state. Where the state is stalking directly, you are stalking vicariously, period. And so you hit someone with your car, you can feign ignorance all you want. First of all, you're engaging in federal stalking. And second of all, it is the government, as you represent, that is hitting me with your vehicle while federal stalking is underway. Okay? And you happen, under these sets of facts, you happen to be the state that is a kidnapper, that is a perpetual sex offender. All right? And that is engaging in what is terrorism, because that's what this federal stalking system is amongst the demon possessed. All right, so this is what I'm speaking to, and every other fact that is relevant to her criminal activity as she's acting on behalf of the entity. She does so with the minor child in the back seat. So I cannot stress that enough, and I'm going to hone in on that in the forum. All right, so you're going to suffer severely for that, and this is how you're going to treat, this is how you're going to prosecute for every facet of that crime, every single facet of it. It is 9:55 a.m., and that is P.O.C.
All right, it is 4:23 p.m. Taking images of what are third parties that are engaging in federal stalking. I'm downstairs on the basement level, and so I captured images of what are the people that are surrounding in relevant position and in the state's directed light, as they are also stalking with activity together, all right? And I'm also taking images of what they are doing on the venue of the internet. This is the federal stalking conduct while they are maintaining presence inside of the state facilitating venue. And I am on, again, what is the 4G, 5G network of T-Mobile. And so what I've taken images of is the monitoring that they're doing on my phone, and then I took pictures of everyone that's sitting around me in relevant position. And again, they are engaging in alternate maintenance of presence. So these faces that are here are alternating, and so in other words, it's not just these same faces that are here. They engage in patrolling based on what I'm doing. So on surveillance cameras, you'll see people walking by, and they are walking by pursuant to what I'm doing on the internet and what I'm doing physically. All right, and those that are sitting in alignment, meaning stationary, sitting around at a desk or at a table, exiting out of a door, such as the restroom. That's the state actor exiting out of the restroom. He is stalking in the bathroom and exiting to create audible activity. This is literally what the demon-possessed engaged in. This is the P.O.C, and I'm capturing this in pictures while they're monitoring on the internet, and that's what I took pictures of. It's stating literally that I am not on the internet, that I'm offline, and I am on a paid T-Mobile network. Okay, this is not a disconnection. This is the ongoing pattern of conduct. And this has been for a prolonged period of time, trying to stop me from uploading the close-up images of the group stalkers at Andy's Burgers that were engaging in not only the sexual violence inherent to the pattern of conduct, that they're engaging in terrorism, what was literally, I mean, classic P.O.C of third parties, criminal defamation. You have what is threats of harm coming out of their mouth. All of this is as audible activity, engaging in threatening to summon the police that are already stalking in relevant position, and in doing so pursuant to what is the fear of that third party who hit me with her vehicle, and very well should have been fearful. And then she basically takes shelter inside of the Andy's Burgers after I documented that ongoing P.O.C outside of that venue. And so I did take close-up images of that venue, of each and every one of them that were in relevant position partaking in that criminal act, all right, which is attributed to the entire entity. And it is 4:26 p.m. and I took image. That's what they are engaging in. So this is criminal obstruction of justice upon federal stalking at the library. This is demon possession. This is terrorism, as the entity engages in this on a ceaseless basis, and it is serving what is obstruction of justice, trying to obstruct publishing documentation. And I'm going to upload it, and I'm also going to publish the images of those who are engaging in what is in violation of federal law. They're monitoring on the video of the internet. It's 4:26 p.m. That's P.O.C. All right, I did take pictures of more. They're engaging in demonic activity. That's literally what I'm taking pictures of. I'm capturing what's demonic activity by the state actors and the third parties that are in the state facilitating venue monitoring. They're all monitoring together. And they are engaging in what is pacing. So I'm sitting at the computer, and as I'm uploading pictures, which they are engaging in monitoring on the internet, stuttering substantially, trying to slow down the internet connection. And every time I engage, and this is the demonic aspect, with simultaneity to what I am doing on the internet. Like as I select a picture to upload it, somebody walks by, and then they walk by again. They're walking back and forth. They're pacing. And so I start taking images, and then you have a new face. A guy walks on my opposite side. They're one group. They're pacing together. This is demonic activity, what I'm taking pictures of, as they're walking by. That's called crossing a path, with simultaneity to what I'm doing on my phone, on the internet. They also do the same thing based on what I do physically. In addition to that, the audible activity down here in the basement, which is supposedly the quiet area, but not where demons are monitoring and stalking, okay? It's sounding like some loud boom down here. There is no door that's going to create that loud reverberating boom, but that is the state's demonic pattern of conduct of creating loud activity while they are monitoring and maintaining presence. And it is directed light down here, just like I showed you yesterday evening. The group stalker that was sitting in alignment to me, as he's walking away, you see the multiple shadows of the chair, and he is surrounded by his shadow as he's walking away. And they were sitting around stalking with activity. That's exactly what they're doing now. And loud booming noises heard downstairs in this area. There's a door, back door at the back part of the book stacks. There's another door where the African American, or African, I don't know what she is, the black lady who sits in the glass office, who's a stalker. That door is not going to create a loud boom. The door that's on the opposite end, where there used to be a deep area where you could sit in, they shut all that down and made it an office now. And that closing that door is not going to create a loud boom. This is the ongoing soundtrack as demons are maintaining presence all around and pacing around. This is terrorism. That's what I'm taking pictures of, as they're engaging in the demonic behavioral pattern. And it is both the third-party patrons and the employees, okay? It's P.O.C. They are monitoring on the venue of the internet. It's 5:42 p.m. All right, screenshots that are captured are occurring. This is federal stalking on the venue of the internet via communication devices, and this is while I am at the venue where P.O.C. is being isolated. But again, the state is monitoring with communication devices, and that spans a radius. So it is beyond this venue, which is the Ovid Family Community Library, where they are engaging in what is demented terrorism upon federal stalking on the venue of the internet in violation of 18 U.S.C. 2261A. And I'm taking screenshots of that, and I just want to document the venue where I'm at, where that is attributed to every single last person here, working here, visiting here, sitting in here. This is federal stalking that's underway, and that's what I'm taking screenshots of. You should be looking at what is monitoring on the venue of the internet, serving the purpose of what the objective is, obstruction of justice, and that's the pattern of conduct of the entity. And that's what I took images of, was they are ceaselessly engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, and the criminal elements of monitoring are demonic. So they are engaging in terrorism with the criminal objective of obstruction of justice, trying to stop publishing. And this is intrusion and getting in the way of accessing internet. And this is on again, my phone on the T-Mobile network, and this was also even when I was using Wi-Fi. So this is the pattern of conduct, but I just want to specify I'm on my T-Mobile phone on the T-Mobile network, and it's talking about 14 hours to upload, 10 hours to upload, an hour and 14 minutes to upload 10 pictures. This is monitoring. That's monitoring on the venue of the internet, and these are psychopaths that are standing and sitting around and employed here that are monitoring, engaging in demonic activity and the entirety of the internet, the entirety of the environment, as well as what I am documenting on the internet on my phone, is the evidence against that. It is also revealing what are psychopaths, all right? Because you're looking at what's going on, and then you're looking at how they conduct themselves, and that's a psychopath, all right? It's 8:21 p.m., and that's federal stalking as I'm capturing images of that, the evidence of that on my phone. That is on the internet. That is via communication devices. That's at Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. It's 8:22 p.m. All right, it is 8:35 p.m. License plate 8TSS112, 8LSH751, 6ZNW310, 5SSV506, 7GRG896, 8PVB027, 6ACV746, 6TTU178. This is a paper plate, AX84K02, and the VIN number on this, it's a Clarity, a Honda Clarity. VIN number is JHMZC5F17JC017713. Says it expires November 27th, 2021. License plate. All right, and as I walk through this parking lot of behind the Ovitt Family Community Library, where the state's fake sun moves from the side of the facing the senior center to the opposite side, where the Ontario police were stalking on the opposite side of the parking lot, where the state's fake sun engaged in that incredible movement, moving from both sides of the building. The night version of that is turning on street lights around me, and so I'm going to get this group stalker's license plate that's stalking in the parking lot in their car, while the state is surrounding me with light activity as I walk in the parking lot. BLUE with a star OV. Omni-Transit crossing path, and the group stalker loitering in the parking lot is 4EPF 905, while the state is stalking with light, using the lights in the parking lot. 8TRL259, 6PJN178, 7MYB313, It is 8:37 p.m. and that's ongoing light activity. The light in the parking lot is just flashing on and off. All right, like I said, that's not malfunctions. That's a demonic environment. But as far as the criminal elements go, that is light activity. Okay, that's what City of Ontario was doing this morning with a John Deere construction vehicle. That's what City of Ontario was doing this morning with its truck as it parks directly across the street from me as I stand outside and document. That's what the Ontario Police Department were doing as they went towards Sultana and used their police lights. It's called stalking with lights, peculiarized light. This is what the people do. This is what Omni-Transit is doing with its hazards. It's what third parties are doing with their hazards. All right, this is what the state is doing. 6MIA217, 7CKJ489, 8EAX648, 1564957, and that is a City of Ontario vehicle. License 5FZT168, 8ABB535, 8BAB311, 6PJN178, in case I didn't read that. I think I read that one already. Yeah. All right, and group stalkers are, again, where I go, activity follows. You have a group stalker that's just walking across in the dark parking lot, not documenting like I am, all right? That's called crossing path, and doing so while the state is using the parking lot lights, the street lamps, creating light activity, and while I have multiple shadows. All right, so that is speaking to directed light. That is the ongoing demonic environment, which is ubiquitous. All right, that is speaking to the documentation everywhere that you go, and every criminal act that is engaged, that is precipitating from the criminal system that's in operation. All right, so the entity engaging in what is violence this morning, as I documented, and then engaging in obstruction of justice, refusing to provide her name, and then other group stalkers use what is criminal defamation, harassment, and threats of harm
which is nothing but a distraction because this third party does not want to identify themselves, because this third party is in fact scared. But this third party is indeed a third party. Federal stalking is underway. That third party that hit me, every third party that uttered those defamatory, threatening, and terrorizing words as audible activity, the entirety of the entity is to be prosecuted for that, including the state actors, not just the third parties. The people of the state are the vicarious entity. I am showing how they are one and the same as the system is underway, but the entity acts as one. So what the people did this morning, the people are the ones that hit me with the vehicle while federal stalking was underway. That's a demon-possessed stalker that is one engaging in terrorism, that engaged in hitting with a vehicle. And understand, where you are engaging in federal stalking, you do not have any argument. Federal stalking is underway. That's the context to everything. Everything. All right, and so that is what I documented this morning. And it's 8:40 p.m. The people are stalking with light, right in alignment with me, with hazard lights parked on the wrong side of the street, right in front of third-party facilitating venue, 280 North Limit Apartments, to be in alignment with me as I walk back on the sidewalk. Okay, that's the ongoing maintenance of a demonic environment. That's what the state was doing right now in the parking lot with the parking lot lights. This is how the people stalk with light. All right, and understand that these terrorists, and this is what I'm saying, I'm reiterating the point because you need to understand how much the people, and especially that one that directly engaged in it, but she doesn't act alone, she acts on behalf of the entity, she's going to pay dearly for that. That's why I got her and her minor child that she's engaging in sexual violence and terrorism with, because she's going to pay dearly for that. And she is engaging in what is terrorism right now. This group stalker parked in front of 280 on the wrong side of the street. You hear the ignition as I approach, stalking in the vehicle using their hazards, 4, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 2. Understand that this third party is the one that hit me this morning with the vehicle, stalking right now, engaging in what is terrorism. And that is the sex offender that listens to me pull my panties down and engage in a private activity inside of the bathroom. It is one entity, okay? That's P.O.C. It is 8:41 p.m. and you heard the ignition start. That is the ongoing stalking, and that's the blatant stalking conduct by the entity. Knowing that they're being documented, all right? Understand what I'm documenting third parties are doing with this demented, they are freak weirdos, okay? They hit objects. They pace back and forth. Understand what they're doing inside at their disposal to maintain presence and noise. That's what the state is doing outside with planes and helicopters. They're doing the same thing. It is the same demonic entity. They're maintaining noise, and the state does it on a whole other level with planes. They're maintaining light, and the state does it on a whole other level with the fake sun and with directed light and turning on street lamps and building lights everywhere that I go. It is the same demonic activity. And that entity is to be prosecuted because that entity is the one that hit me this morning. The totality of that entity is the one that hit me this morning with a deadly weapon. All right. And then engaged in defamatory speech, threatening speech, and harassing speech at that facilitating venue. All right. It is 8:42 p.m. and that is thoroughly documented and published on the internet. Alrighty. Here comes a sex offender and a terrorist right now, monitoring to what is amplified activity coming from both directions. All right, this is called demonic activity, 7LLP200. A sex offender engaging in terrorism, waiting. This is demonic activity. All right, license plate, amplifying the sound of her speakerphone. That's a beeping sound. That's audible activity while she's touching. 7NMJ474. He or she is touching, excuse me. Metro 102 Apartments, they're monitoring, patrolling around in the parking lot. License plate 7KTW830. Every single last one of them are demon-possessed stalkers. They are engaging in terrorism, and they are each, understand, they hit me this morning. This is what I'm teaching you about what is demonic group conduct. There's no separation. In the same way that Satan is acting through a multiplicity of faces, the public entity is acting through the people. The people act as one. The people hit me today. The people are going to be prosecuted as one. All right. License 8PVB020. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shadows while this group stalker is in relevant position, stalking in the parking lot at Metro 102. All right. And that's Satan that's giggling. And that's Satan that's going to be prosecuted. P.O.C. All right. Touching with directed light while they're patrolling in the parking lot. And that's also Satan with a bad weave. License plate. E570SO. ARX754A, BS68L19. That is Union Pacific / Amtrak engaging in the pattern of conduct where I am. A directed light is present, so you understand the deliberate conduct where you have that environment ongoing. The impossible occurrence of your shadow surrounding you while you have noise that is ongoing, that's called the criminal elements of monitoring. And that is how Union Pacific is a sex offender and a terrorist. And did so understand Union Pacific is going to be prosecuted for engaging in hitting me with a vehicle, a deadly weapon. If you pay attention to my documentation, Union Pacific is wailing in the background, fully engaged in that violent act of terrorism. All right? That's P.O.C. License plate 7DGR522. Third party facilitating venue, Metro 102 Apartments. License 7LLP200. Alrighty? 6XKK107. All right, demon is patrolling, driving around in a circle. You know how I documented those demons that were working for. Those just happen to be, those are demon-possessed individuals who happen to be working for armed response. And I told you about this ritualistic conduct of not only touching with light, but walking around in circles, pacing back and forth. And after I documented, I showed you what was their double shadows, what was directed light, what was their form for the state's molestation with directed light. And then they began driving in a circle. This is what the people are doing over here at this Metro 102 parking lot. There are cockroaches and they're just swarming all around. All right? And you already know that the state is a stalker. That's why the people are going to be prosecuted. That's the state that's flying over. That is the state that hit me this morning with a deadly weapon that's flying over. And then the state, to boot, provided more and more evidence against that group stalker who was doing so with a minor child. I'm going to handle that. All right? We're going to handle that. 8NWL292. Y8T803, I believe. Can't really see that one. License 5RXP 706. Alrighty, and it is reasonably foreseeable, by the way. It is absolutely reasonably foreseeable. It is a proximate cause of harm to the target individual where a government is engaging in monitoring and stalking vicariously through the people of the state. All right. In addition, and that is not the only harm. All right. You're talking about that which is crimes that the people engage in with impunity. And then when you have the audacity to know what they're doing, and then you document it, oh yes, it's reasonably foreseeable that they will engage in such criminal conduct. And it is unprecedented criminal activity because it is not one person, it's everyone that is around you. It is the very people of the state of California. All right, so you prosecute for that. You prosecute for that. It is 8:47 p.m. and there is nothing that the target individual in documenting and asserting their constitutional rights, especially where the state is the criminal, and that is the only resort. That is the only resort, okay? There is no assumption of any risk when you're documenting. And so the issue is, what it's going to be is that you're going to be prosecuted for not standing down. And that's going to be quite a price to pay. P.O.C. license plate 8HVX552 48401E1, because that's essentially what the state is doing. Their entire system has been broken down and exposed, and at prosecution showing the length of time, all right, that I have not only fully established that I'm thoroughly breaking down policy and the necessity of it and what justice requires based on what they're engaging in, that pattern of it, right? And you're looking at the state acting with impunity as though the documentation doesn't exist. That is going toward the creation of policy. That's going toward how you prosecute the very government itself. And the government's going to be prosecuted. Watch me snatch down those demon-possessed stalkers that are flying in circles over helicopters. I'm going to snatch them out the sky. I'm going to snatch them out of those helicopters and airplanes. I'm going to snatch them right out of them. Right out of there. They're going to be prosecuted. It is currently 8:49 p.m. and at third-party facilitating venue, ongoing criminal facilitation and demonic activity as the people are pacing, maintaining presence as demons. This is terrorism, while they are lining the building in relevant position, creating light such that the state may monitor. 5 PWD 843, 6 NVW 100, 8 RVA 669. All right, and understand they're monitoring while the state is flying over in an airplane and I'm walking down the street. They're already in relevant position, maintaining presence. All right, multiple shadows are on the ground. 6 NVW 100. This is demonic activity. You're looking at the elements, and this is how demons conduct themselves. All right, operating under the guise of normalcy, and demons are not normal, nor is the environment. 6 PEP 769. So you are stripping them of all form that they thought they had. They don't have any form. 7 BYK 565. 8 VXS 746. 5 UNV 051. 8 CMJ 348. 6777 5W1. All right, directed light while group stalker, that's a demon-possessed stalker, is entering into the parking lot, and it's directed light, not their headlights, that is creating that magnified size of shadows. 6 MCS 178. That is the conduct of demons. All right, this is license plate 8NCC 559. All right, maintaining presence, maintaining light, and also in the state's directed light. This is 3KCA 774, 7LLN 373, 8FNC 731, 8XXE 407, 62481D2, 7XES 222. All of them touching together. These are terrorists and sex offenders engaged in a great, ginormous size orgy that you did not invite them to. You did not give them consent to touch, all right? And that's what they're doing, 8VZA 471, while they're stalking as the government. Who likes to kidnap? Who likes to sit around in the bathroom and listen to you pull your panties down, all right? Who likes to touch? 8KKR 519, all right? 6VQX 696, 6SIT 477, 7MYL 690, 7SLG 059, 8CEJ 355. Right? It is 8:51 p.m. All right, group stalkers of Suite A inside of B&G Plaza. I believe this is the management office. They're engaging in P.O.C. All right, 7 NPJ 369, 8 NRE 572, 7 ZDZ 684. 7JLE 285, 8P 12439. Yeah, it's 8:52 p.m. All right, patrolling on transit, turning their headlights off in the middle of the street. That's creation of light activity. Understand the state does this with building lights, just like I was saying. That's a hazard lights. You're looking at what is the same conduct, and you're understanding, stretching your mind to understand the ways you're engaging in creating light activity, because that's how they do it. And when you see it so many times, you recognize the pattern and the different ways that that pattern exists. 8 EMY 375. Those are demons creating audible activity and directed light. Literally stalkers. Look like they're act like they're focused on something else, and they're creating an audible activity. They're stalking in the path. They're in the state's directed light. 7HCM 281, 8UMZ 417, 7JOK 590, 7JBH 182. It is 8:53 p.m. And they're on camera inside of the B&G Plaza. All right, license 6RRJ869 and 6W84937. All right, license 6NVW100 moves to sit in their parking lot, the same parking lot with the let's try to drop something, facing the Holt Boulevard, in order to touch with headlights. All right, they're touching with light, they're maintaining light in the path, and that is being a sex offender. That's Union Pacific engaging in that sexual violence as well. It is 8:58 p.m. All right, I did take an image of that. That's called stalking in the path. Stalking in the path with light in order to maintain a lit path and in order to maintain activity. That's what the state is doing with amplification. That's what Union Pacific is doing, okay? It is 8:59 p.m. and the way that sexual violence goes is as a sex offender is touching you, if you are turning on the air conditioner so that that sex offender can more comfortably engage in that sexual violence in that room, you're a sex offender as well. You're not in any way stopping it. You are aiding and abetting. And in the way that Union Pacific is creating audible activity while the state is molesting the person of the targeted individual, Union Pacific is engaging in that sexual violence. All right? It is P.O.C. That's called audible activity. That's a sex offender, all right? That's the people of the state. 6UUX196, 8EMY375, all right? You're hearing the elements that are underway as I'm reciting who is a sex offender engaging in terrorism. These are demons. 8NHT540. Union Pacific and the people of the state are one. Union Pacific is a commercial brand that you know versus 6UUX196, who you will know. I'm going to make an example out of them. License plate, 8KKR519. 70GN315, I believe. Can't really see that one. License 7USZ438 and 8C, I can't really see that one. Omnitrans, you know that. They're a sex offender. They're psychopaths. That's Satan literally driving that bus. And it is the same with all of them, but I just mean Omnitrans is such an egregious actor, that's all. License plate, 7X13277, I believe. All right, 7MYL690, if I didn't read that one already. Andy's Burgers is just maintaining presence with the drive-thru. So understand that demons are intentionally filling up the drive-thru, buying whatever they want. Understand this is maintenance of presence. That's all that they're doing. These are demons that are doing so. 7SLGO56, and I believe I read these. All right, P.O.C. It is 9:01 p.m. 7LGY297. That's called audible activity. That's what the state is doing at the museum all night long via Union Pacific, via third parties, because it's supposed to be that loud when you're on the museum grounds as well. And you're supposedly hearing the very train riding on the tracks from the museum. That's how loud it is. Okay? I'm laughing because that's going to be fully examined, because that's not the case. I'm going to show you. Well, I've already shown you, but I'm going to make even in the prosecution, it's going to be a tutorial. 8KCA774. Nothing that I'm saying, nothing that I've already documented because I've unilaterally established it, but it is that which is also readily provable in a court of law. Okay, I'm saying that which I can establish on my own in court. Okay, it's not a question whether sunlight actually sits beside a vehicle when you're driving, or sits in front of a vehicle in motion, or travels behind a vehicle opposite, and that's not any sort of mystery. Okay, and if you need to test that in order to see it with your own eyes, I don't think you do, but that's something that is not in any way difficult to demonstrate in a court of law. All right, nothing that I am saying is a matter of rocket science. The state is literally engaging in what is desperate and demonic. Understand that light activity is not just about being an idiot. It's not just about being desperate. It's out of hell. It's Satan. It's satanic. That's why it's so weird. All right? That's what demonic activity is, in case you didn't know. There's nothing cool about it. It is but they are a bunch of freak and demented sickos, literally. And it is demonstrated through the conduct. And I'm doing nothing but shedding light on it. And this is a twisted people, a twisted entity, and that is a very precise explanation of what the Ontario Police Department embody and what they represent. All right, they're a very sick agency. I have seen them engaging in the pacing around. It is the demons that are operating within them. I've seen them act. It is as though they are literally just a puppet, and Satan animates them. And they are animated based on the one whom they are focusing on, while they are outwardly engaging and conducting themselves like they're doing something else. It is a psychopath. Once you understand what they're doing, what you're looking at, all right, they're sick. They have no business in law enforcement either. All right? None. And that's law enforcement. These psychopaths that don't work for the police agency, these are the people of the state of California. How often do you take your children with you to go rob a bank? Well, the people of the state of California are bringing their children with them to engage in unheard of and egregious sexually violent terrorism. That's going to be addressed. That's going to be addressed. That's what demons do when they think that they're getting away with it because nobody knows their secret. That's what that is about. That's going to be addressed. It is 9:04 p.m. That is P.O.C. License plate. Oh, covered it up. That's why they crossed paths. That's how Satan operates, and that's a coward, okay? P.O.C. Documented thousands of third parties. Omnitrans crossing path while that group stalker comes onto transit and crosses path, covering up a license plate. All right, that's the coward that I'm dealing with, by the way. But Omnitrans, they're one entity. All right, that's P.O.C. It is 9:05 p.m. All right, federal stalking on the venue of the internet, 9:13 p.m. Ontario Museum. Literally flying in a straight line, hovering over the museum, not taking off, and was flying at a low hovering elevation before they played the tape of a sound of a plane taking off. That's called noise and relevant positioning, audible activity. The state is monitoring, the state is stalking, with activity as I engage in activity on my communication device on the venue of the internet. That is the federal stalking. That is terrorism as they are stalking with activity. All right, it's 9:14 p.m. and I did take pictures of that too.